again the World Series. What does the Dodgers need to do in specific, sir, to avoid having this series to go back to Canada to finish it up right here? Obviously, winning.
Yeah, outside of winning 3 games, I think, first off, we're trying to win tomorrow. That's the first thing. We have to have Tyler come out and pitch well. We have to, we know Scherzer from years past, and we have to know that he's going to come in and compete and make pitches, and we got to have a good game plan and execute and play sound baseball, and then everything will take care of itself.
About 6 rows back in the middle, Fabian.
Yeah, Dave, we've asked a lot about the offense the last couple of games. Are you surprised there hasn't been more slug in general? Or is that one of those things where the at-bats are going to lead to more slug down the line?
I'm not, we had 2 homers yesterday, but I think in general, the 2 starters in particular that we faced have made really good pitches. I think they've had really good command. But yeah, we've missed some pitches as well. But yeah, I guess, they've made good pitches, but we've missed pitches as well. So I do think that coming home, I feel that, we're back into a little bit of a rhythm offensively that it should show itself here these next 3 games.
We'll stay in the same row with Sonia.
Dave, you talked yesterday about kind of considering making a change with Andy in center field and picked up a hit yesterday. But, is that something you think he can build on, or is it still on the table, you shaking things up with him?
Still on the table. It's front of mind, just trying to figure out, where he's at mentally, physically. Certainly the performance hasn't been there. Thinking of other options. So, yeah, it's certainly on the table.
And these will be Clayton's final home games. You've talked about, you're first and foremost trying to win these games here, but would you like to get him into one of these games if the situation is right?
I would love to get him into one of these games if the situation is right. But first and foremost, I'm going to make decisions that I feel are best for helping the team win that particular game. And if he's a part of it, fantastic.
4th row on your right, Bill.
Yeah, Dave. My connecting flight was delayed. Do you have a travel story for us as well?
I don't want to get too far into it. I just arrived about 30 minutes ago. So there were some delays. I don't know if there was intent or not, but the international stuff was a bear. But we made it.
And with Scherzer, you've faced him over the years. I'm thinking in terms of, in particular, the 2019 playoffs. How different is he as a pitcher now?
Yeah, the stuff was down, but that last outing in Seattle, it was back up. But obviously, with age, you don't have the same stuff. I know they don't have the same leash that on him as he used to have. But, man, he's still a great competitor. He still studies hitters, makes pitches, and yeah, he's not going to give in. It's still going to be a tough test for us regardless because he wants to beat us really bad, I'm sure.
2nd row on your left, Dave.
Dave, I know you said that you were just playing the card you were dealt, having these starters go long into these games, but is there some part of you that loves seeing the old school baseball that you grew up with, guys going 8, 9 innings, complete games?
Absolutely. I love it. I think that's the game that I grew up on. I think that's the game that, fans love. But I do think that there's a point, in the last, call it 15 years that starters just aren't conditioned to go deeper. And so right or wrong, that's what I came into. And so then you look at the roster and what best way to win one particular game, and then a manager, myself, has to make decisions. But, yeah, in a vacuum, I love it this way, yeah.
We'll go to Beth right here.
Yeah, Dave, with 3 games in 3 days, how critical is it for the starters to go deep and not tax the bullpen, knowing that you're just going to have to keep coming back night after night here?
It's critical. I think that unfortunately we are comprised of a rotation that can log innings. So the 3 in a row is very important to not to vary reliever looks and to kind of get the optimum matchups that you can. But it starts with the starters going deeper. Absolutely.
Right here with Ron.
One more on the bullpen. Do you go into 3 days in a row knowing who's capable of bouncing back the pitch every day and who's not? Or is it next morning more seeing how they feel? And also, since they're all going to say they're available, how do you make the determination whether they're really capable?
Yeah, you don't always trust the player, but in this particular situation, I think I got a good feel for our guys. You do go into a 3-game series of knowing what their potential limitations are. Availability, efficacy, is important, obviously. Just conversations. But in total, whatever it takes to win that game, and you pick up the pieces after.
In evaluating it, is there a metric, or is it more look in their eye and trying to evaluate if they're...
It's their catch play. It's me talking to the coaches, most important. And at the end of the day, I've got to make a bet on if the player, the coach, everything, the information, if it makes sense to run them out there.
About 7 rows back on your far right, Alden.
Hey, Dave, with Clayton specifically, how have you seen him sort of navigate this last month, obviously in a role that he's not accustomed to at all? And is there any way in which you felt like his presence has had an impact on any individual guys and helped in these playoffs?
He's handled this last month with class, professionalism. All the while, he's always said that he wants to do anything he can to help the team, and he's followed through on that. All the stuff finishing out the season and how everything kind of played out was a lot on his plate, handled it with grace. And then the kind of uncertainty of role going to the pen, he's just fallen in line. And so he's adjusted his kind of workout regimen, throwing program to be ready when called upon, like everyone else is. And I think he's been a big asset for the guys in the pen. Talking to Josh Bard about Clayton, the interactions, the conversations, he's been very additive. And so, to the earlier question, I'd love to get him in there if it makes sense.
A couple rows behind the camera, Nobu.
I skip. Back to the game 2. We saw the Roki was warming up in the ninth inning, and then Yoshinobu's pitch count already, over 100 pitches. So, in what situation were you planning to use Roki?
I think for me, I was watching the throws, making sure that Yoshi's delivery was still sound and consistent, which it was. So that's one part of it. And the quality of pitches, and then seeing how the inning developed. So it was sort of a hitter-by-hitter situation, but I wanted him to finish that game.
Second row, you're right, Jack.
With Roki, you've mostly used him at the end of games. Just given where the rest of the pen is at right now, could you see maybe being a little more aggressive using him earlier if there's a situation that arises, or do you want to try to keep him preferably in a ninth inning role?
I would say probably using him more towards the back. I'm not going to say I'm going to be beholden to that throughout the end of through the whole series, but I think kind of the way I look at it now, more towards the back end.
And then with the lineup, when you talk about missing pitches that you guys could do damage on, is that partially part of the byproduct of not having faced live pitching for a week and just taking a couple games for guys to kind of get back in their swings a little bit, or is more that just not executing and with some of the stuff they were throwing at you?
I think it was more. Honestly, I think it was a little bit weird, a little bit in between. We faced 2 guys with plus secondary pitches and splits, And I think that having that kind of in the back of your mind gets you off the fastball just a little bit. So I think that's kind of what it was the reason behind it.
A couple others for Doc. Anything else? We'll finish with Clayton.
This is just on a more fun note. There's a guy on this team who reminds a lot of people of yourself and Justin Dean in terms of when he, what he does and his defensive skills. He put him in twice. He's made a great catch and he stole a base. Just tell me something about him and what it's like to look at a guy who, frankly, reminds you of the game that a lot of people know you had.
Great teammate, really good self-evaluator. Obviously wants to be a guy, wants to be in there, but you understand your role on the team and you try to make the most of it when your number's called. And so, he's a plus defender out in center field. He can steal a base, and he's good on the team. And so those guys in the postseason, you need kind of have your horses, but you also have to have the guys on the periphery that are good teammates and kind of keep that, mojo going. And Justin does just that.
We'll finish up with Francisco up front.
Just one situation that was curious. If you ever had where Shohei or Yamamoto or Snell, you're coming out and you feel that it's done, it's over for them, but they tell you, hell no, I'm going to stay here, I want to finish the game. Is there a situation that you will listen to your pitcher or you tell them, sorry, buddy, I'm the manager, you're out?
It's kind of case by case. There are certain times where pitchers want to stay in there and I trust them and I believe them and I think I'll go with it, and other times I know what I know, and it doesn't matter what they tell me. So for the most part, 90% of the time, 95% of the time, I've already made my decision. 99% of the time. But sometimes I'll relent, yeah.
All right, Doc, thanks so much. Appreciate it.